Namaste, dear students. Welcome to the second session of BEFA subject, first unit, second part. In a previous session, we discussed about the importance of the subject as well as various subtopics under first unit when we stopped at elasticity of demand. Now, let me share the PPT and start the remaining topic. Right? Elasticity of demand. So when you come to the elasticity of demand, it is about responsiveness of demand due to change in factor. For example, you take a factor called a price of the commodity. We know the price will have influence on a demand, right? So, for example, if you reduce one unit price, definitely there will be a increase in a demand. But here, that is just a law of demand. But here, how much increase that matters, right? So here, how much it increases, that is called responsiveness, which means by reducing of one unit of price, you may see more than one unit of demand increase or below one unit of demand increase. There is no guarantee exactly there will be a one unit of demand increases by one unit price decreases, isn't it? Right? So the responsiveness of the consumer due to the price change of any commodity, right? So responsiveness of consumer demand is a better term instead of simply writing responsiveness of consumer, right? So according to Alfred Marshall, elasticity of demand may be defined as the percentage change in a quantity demanded to the percentage change in a price. What percentage of price changed? Accordingly, what amount of demand changed? So that particular responsiveness we can consider as a elasticity of demand. Here, elasticity of demand you can measure in four ways. That is, first one is perfectly elastic demand, perfectly inelastic demand, relatively elastic, relatively inelastic, and unity elasticity. Let me explain you brief about it. Perfectly elastic demand means without making change in a price, if demand keep on increases, then that case can be considered as perfectly elastic demand. Perfectly inelastic demand means whatever the price you may be changed, but it cannot affect on a demand of the product. In such a case, that type of nature can be called as a perfectly inelastic demand. Relatively elastic demand means, so when there is a small decrease in a price will lead to huge increase in a demand. For example, if you decrease one unit of price, there will be a increase in a demand. That is very common as per the law of demand, but that increase definitely it should be more than the one unit. See here, one unit decrease in a price costs more than one unit increase in a quantity demanded, and that case can be called as relatively elastic demand. And relatively inelastic demand is opposite, right? So more increase or a decrease in a price, let me take decrease. So uh, that particular change cannot affect more on a demand change, right? So here price reduced from P2 to P1, almost let us take 2 units reduced, but the demand increased just you can see 1 unit. So which means the demand not highly changed. So that case can be called as a relatively inelastic demand. And the last one is a unity elasticity, means whatever the percentage of change you see in a price, the same percentage of change you can get in a demand, quantity demanded. So if you reduce 3 units of price, simultaneously you can see there is a 3 units of increase in a demand. That case can be called as a unity elasticity. This nature, this particular measures differ from product to product. So based upon the product nature characteristics, every product has a different type of elasticity, right? So how many types? Let us see. It is one factor, the price elasticity of demand. Another factor, income. Another one, cross, and then another one, advertisement. Of course, you may ask me why we are not taking in other factors which we already discussed in a previous class. So all the factors are not measurable. Of course, you can measure, but these particular factors not in the hands of a manufacturer, right? That is why they cannot locate it. But here when you come to this, they can have some solid information, and based upon that you can get the information, right? So types of elasticity, there are four different types of elasticity. You can see here: price elasticity of demand, income elasticity of demand, cross elasticity of demand, advertising elasticity of demand. When coming to the price elasticity of demand, so it is about a proportionate change in a quantity demanded to the proportionate change in a price. So that can be considered as a price elasticity of demand, right? So, for example, you take a 1 unit price reduce, definitely some amount of demand increases. What amount of demand increasing? That matters here. Earlier case in a law of demand, just we focused on reducing a price cost to the increase in a demand, and that particular relationship we consider as law of demand. But in a elasticity of demand case, if you come, right, what percentage of change occurring in a price as well as the quantity demanded, right? That particular ratio we can consider as elasticity of demand. That is why the formula you can see, so proportionate change in a quantity demand by proportionate change in a price can be considered as price elasticity of demand. In such a way you can see other cases also. So here, income elasticity, when you measure the demand responsiveness with the income change, right? Earlier, when you take a price case, there is a inverse relationship, right? So in an income case, it is a parallel relation, right? If income increases, the product demand also increases because I intend to buy more when my income increases. Likewise, cross elasticity of demand. One more thing, most of the cases you can expect this question for the objective type of question, right? Here, the cross elasticity already when I explained about determinants, demand determinants, I explained related goods. In a related goods, I said substitutes and complementary goods, right? So here I explained this coffee, tea example, right? So here, let us say X can be considered as a tea and Y can be considered as a coffee. So because we already discussed, when the price of the coffee changes, definitely there will be a change in a demand of the tea, because when price increases, coffee price increases, some of the customers may turn towards the tea because they both can give the same type of utility, right? So in such a way, in case the type of comparison if you want to do, so that comes under cross elasticity of demand. Here the proportionate change in a quantity demanded for product X, here the product X may be a tea, and proportionate change in a price of a product Y, product Y can be considered as a coffee, right? Because these two are related goods. Definitely when there is a price change in any one of the product, definitely will have impact on a other related goods demand. So if you want to measure that responsiveness, you use this particular technique, the type called cross elasticity of demand. And the last one is advertising elasticity of demand. So it is one of the factor which influence on a demand, you know very well, right? What amount of money we are spending on advertisement, right? Definitely that creates some craze or a impact on a customer mind. So accordingly, there will be a change in a demand, right? What percentage of change occurred in a quantity demanded based upon the percentage change in a advertisement cost. Actually, advertisement cost have an impact on a demand. That's why, so we consider this one like that. So these are the various types of elasticity of demand in brief. Let us coming to the next topic, that is a theory of a firm. So theory of a firm is related to comprehending how firms come into being, right? What are their objectives, how they are going to achieve their objectives, how they are going to perform to get that objectives, reach that objectives. So establish the credentials, standings in a society, all are come under theory of firm, right? So the theory of firm aims at answering the following. You see here, existence of the firm, why the business has started, what is that intention. Actually, in a strategic management, I mean, of course, every organization have a mission and vision. Even our college, university also have a mission and vision. Why this college has started, what they want to achieve. Likewise, in a business case also, every business should have their idea, right? The mission, vision, right? For what purpose they started that business, right? How to they achieve their objectives. So these things come under this particular area. Of course, to discuss this particular concept, there are three major theories are available. The theories I'm not willing to explain right now, but later in our next units, when time comes, I'll explain that. But briefly, I'm giving this idea, right? Here, one more thing you have to focus on this: which of their transactions are performed internally and which are negotiated in the market, organization, and heterogeneity of firm action and performances. These topics can be considered, these areas can be considered together under theory of firm. Right here, this particular slide is about who are the participants or stakeholders of the organization, you can see. And at the same time, types of ownership chart is there. Right here, how many types of ownership forms are available. Uh, you can simply access through this particular uh, chart, but these particular topics individually I'll explain in a further sessions. Coming to the supply, elasticity of supply. So when you come to the supply, so demand and supply tends to the So now coming to the supply, here the manufacturer, the business people, by consuming all the resources available with him, like a land, factors of production, we can call it as land, labor, capital, organization, technology, using, he make a commodities and supply that commodities in a market according to the market demand. Right here, this particular supply concepts are also very important in a managerial economics, right? So especially here we particularly focus on a elasticity of supply. Right here, in case of supply, if you draw a chart, you will see the chart will be appear like this, right? It is quite opposite to the demand, right? In this case, when price reduces, what happens? Quantity also reduces, right? So price reduces, quantity reduces, because manufacturers don't want to supply more when the price is low in a market. When price is high, they intended to supply more in a market. So that is why when you draw the chart will be appear like this. So especially when you come to this elasticity of supply, so the quantity supplied by proportionate change in a quantity supplied by proportionate change in a price, right? Here, when you take a price is the factor which you compare with the elasticity of supply. Next, in a elasticity and inelasticity of supply, two important terms we have to consider here. Elasticity of supply and inelasticity of supply uh, can be explained by using this particular charts in a first case. So inelasticity of supply. So inelasticity of supply says that when you reduce the price, the supply should be reduced, but what amount of reduction is occurring, that matters a lot. So for example, in this particular chart you see, so almost here 3 units of price reduced, but corresponding demand not reduced to 3 units, it is hardly 1 unit. So in such a case we can consider it as inelastic demand, right? When you come to the inelastic supply, when you come to the elastic supply, so here very less change in a price means 1 unit change in a price causes more than 1 unit change in a increase in a quantity demanded. So 1 unit decrease in a price and lead to more than 1 unit increase in a quantity demand, means 1 unit price reduced immediately, manufacturer supplied more than 1 unit heavy supply they can provide. So that particular nature can be considered as a elasticity of supply, and that symbols, that notations you can see here clearly mention perfectly elastic supply, elastic supply. So when es is equal to infinite, we can consider it as, that notation can be considered as perfectly elastic supply. When es greater than 1, we consider it as elastic supply. When es less than 1, it can be considered as inelastic supply. Es is equal to 1, unity elasticity of supply, which means whatever the percentage change occur in a price, exactly the same percentage change occur in a supply of goods, means the measurement is equal at both sides. Next, perfectly inelastic, when es is equal to 0, then that particular case can be considered as perfectly elastic. It is also very similar to the demand, but the concept inverse to this particular demand, right? In a supply case, you will see when price reduces, supply increases. When price increases, supply reduces. With that concept, you have to focus on this particular. Here these are the factors influencing elasticity of the supply. That is the first one, availability of resources required to make the product, amount of time, availability of resources in the sense 5 minutes, 5-10 minutes. Availability of resources in the sense land, labor, capital, factors of production we can consider as. At the same time, amount of time required to make the product, a skill level of the worker need to make the product, as well as time period and adjustments. These are the various concepts associated with the elasticity of supply. And with this, your total first unit finished, right? If you have any doubt, any query, so I already in a first slide I shared my site. Through the site you can get my mail id and other details, and you can communicate with me. Thank you and all the best.